Here we are, you guys, the 2020 Lamborghini Huracan Evo Spyder. Now, Evo means evolution, which means this is a step up from just a regular Huracan, and Spyder means it's a convertible. So because this is an evolution, it makes around 30 more horsepower than the regular Huracan. Under here is a 5.2 liter naturally aspirated V10. It makes 631 horsepower, and there is no better sounding car than this. What's the best part? The exterior design or this engine? We'll go for a drive in just a second, but you can see inside of the whole engine bay, if that's what you want to call it, through this back end grille here. You also get a dual tip exhaust system in the middle of the back end of this car. That is so cool. This thing is so low to the ground as well. Very meaty tires in the back. These wheels are absolutely awesome as well. Tire width's going to be 305, carbon ceramic brakes front and back. These wheels and brakes cost more than my car. Let that sink in for a second. Huracan Evo badge right on the side, little intake to let air flow through there. These door handles are very cool. We'll hop in just a second. Look at the size of these brakes, and I love the green on them as well. It matches the exterior perfectly, of course. Why not? It's Lamborghini. I love the front end as well. It's so slanted and low to the ground. 4.3 inches of clearance if you do not have the front lift system up. This does have an adjustable ride height, so I'm probably going to be trying to keep it up most of the time because this thing can get very low to the ground. Signature Lamborghini headlights. Oh my gosh, this entire car is just so beautiful. I love the bright green as well. This is a wrap. With that being said, let's hop in this thing. So for your door handles, you actually push in there, that opens the door handle, then you can open the car. And well, the interior pretty much matches the insane exterior design. Huracan right on the door sill. If we hop in this thing, presented with Huracan Evo on the gauge cluster. And guys, the legroom here is actually the worst I've ever seen in my life. Like, this is atrocious. The design is like, you have it back and then it caves up for your left foot, so you're sitting like you're, I don't know, it's not comfortable, and the seat is as far back as it can go. So yes, this is a Lamborghini. I'm blessed to freaking be in one right now, but I mean, it's not that comfortable. So anyway, and I want to give a real review, right? I want to just praise the car. That's going to be too easy to do. Probably a lot of praise to come, but it does have its flaws, and so space in here is definitely going to be one of them, and visibility outside of the windshield is kind of harsh. Got all my equipment and notes in here. You have a little infotainment. Let's start it up first. Oh my. Very cool gauge cluster as well. Triple digits in there. You have your selectable drive modes right down here. If we go over to Sport, that's going to open up the exhaust valves. And Corsa. That exhaust gets really loud, and you have this absolutely awesome display on your gauge cluster. A lot of people don't like the digital gauge clusters, but this one is freaking cool. It is, everything about this car is just so exotic. Even look at the dash here. This beautiful pattern, this green stitching, green Alcantara, like what? Cup holders integrated into your dash. That is just, oh, so cool. Apple CarPlay was introduced pretty recently into these cars, which is kind of embarrassing, but this car isn't about luxury. It's about being a freaking Lamborghini. Of course, you have the fighter jet style start stop. You got to lift this up, but they actually carved a hole in this because Lamborghini owners were like, oh, I have to lift this up every time. Oh, so yeah. Anyway, you get some nice switches up here, fighter jet style switches. This is where the front lift system is, and of course you get your window switches as well, parking sensors, all that stuff. All right, so to put this thing in drive, you have to actually push the paddle shifter in, and that's what puts it in drive. You get a little indication because it'll show you you're in first gear. There is no drive down here. Reverse, you pull this up. Park, you push. Manual mode, you push, and that allows you to only use the paddle shifters. But let's go ahead and put it in drive. Very interesting, very Italian sort of thing. And here we are in the 2020 Lamborghini Huracan Evo Spyder. I think one of the craziest things about this car is, I don't know where you guys are from, but I'm probably the only one in the entire county with a Lamborghini out. That's what makes driving this thing oh so special. And I go to reach for the turn signals, but they're actually integrated into the steering wheel. Same with your windshield wipers, by the way. The best way I can describe this car is it is just unlike any Mustang, any Corvette, any Camaro, any Audi, any BMW. It is in its own territory. The shifts feel different. The sound is, of course, way different from any other. And even just the feel of the steering wheel and reaching out to grab those paddle shifters and looking at this exotic interior and knowing, well, honestly, sitting in here, you don't realize that you have this exterior. You have to be on the outside to actually see it, but you know what you're in. So that's, you know, yeah, people are definitely going to be looking. I'm sure if you pull up to a gas station, people are going to ask to, or not even ask, they're just going to start taking pictures, or you'll have Daniel Mack walking up to you asking what you do for a living, which yeah. For me, I'd be like, yep, sorry, not mine. But oh my gosh. And driving this thing calmly, I mean, yeah, it's a bit rough. It's definitely on the rougher side. But other than kind of the rough Mustang, I own a EcoBoost, and you can laugh at them when you're in this thing. You know, it's normal. Like, I don't know, I felt like I was gonna have like angels fly around me when I got in this car, because I don't know, it's always been my dream to drive something like this, and I still feel like I'm not even alive or awake right now. But hey, if you want to just chill, this is a pretty normal car. Just a bit rougher on the ride. But you can always do that. You seriously gotta control yourself in this thing, and I'm kind of talking to myself there, but if you ever get in one of these, oh my gosh, I mean, the temptation is gonna be stronger than any other car you've been in before. It is that, you just wanna access the sound. And the feeling and the shifts, again, they're the most aggressive shifts I've ever felt in literally any other car before. Also, did you notice we were in 7th gear at 34 miles an hour? This thing does have, you know, relatively longer gears. The shifts happen so fast too when you get this beautiful pop as soon as you do it, and you absolutely feel all 631 horsepower. It is insane. It is absolutely insane. So I will say, I was expecting it to feel a little bit more controllable into the corners. Yes, it's a Lamborghini, but don't think this thing just has it all. It's pretty sharp. I guess I was expecting a bit more sharper in terms of cornering and steering. That's kind of surprising to see that I'm even saying that, or hear that I'm saying that. But it's the sound, the acceleration, and the fact that you're in something that looks like an alien spaceship. That's where the $250,000 is, in my opinion. And these paddle shifters as well, they're kind of far out from the steering wheel. I wish they were a little bit closer, and they're also stuck in place. So as you turn the steering wheel, the paddle shifters are in the exact same place. And it looks like we got an interstate ahead of us, so we're definitely going to take this opportunity here. All right, let's do a hard pull in the 2020 Lamborghini Huracan Evo Spyder. Ready? What even is this? Oh my gosh! And the brakes do a great job as well, as expected. Huge carbon ceramics front and back. I am not worried about having to stop this thing fast at all, but I'm definitely not gonna push it to the point where I would have to do an emergency stop. And this infotainment system is just meh. I mean, you kind of gotta push hard, you gotta push in the exact spot. Nothing really cool in here. The fact that they added Apple CarPlay so late is weird. But again, you're not really fooling with the infotainment system in this. You're driving it like this. Got a little corner here. enough to actually get the feeling for it. It's a $250,000 car, okay? I only have 5,000 subscribers. It's not much I can do. I'm not willing to risk it. This is ridiculous. Absolutely freaking ridiculous. Oh, money doesn't buy happiness. Okay. I would beg to differ. All right, let's go ahead and use that front lift system. You'll notice that if you look closely, it raises pretty quick. And here we are, good to go over this minor, I don't know if I'd want to call it a bump, but just a small little divot. Perfectly fine. As soon as you just tap on the gas and let go, those pops are going to start popping. Yeah, this is basically a video game. This car is straight out of like Forza. I mean, it genuinely feels like that. This is, oh my gosh. So is this car actually worth the hype? Is it worth the $250,000 and working so hard to eventually own a car like this? Yes, it is. I really expected the C7 Corvette Z06 to just, you know, I'd get in that, then I'd get in this, and I'd be like, oh, well, the Z06 is, you know, faster. I mean, this thing can't be worth the extra $125,000. Well, I was wrong. It is. Definitely very squirmy though. Don't get me wrong. I can imagine, yeah, you could mess up if you really tried. You're like, the traction's fighting, the V10's screaming, it's moving so fast, it's all happening at once. It makes for one of the most dramatic driving experiences ever. I mean, how much more can you ask for than something like this? The fact that cars can go up to millions of dollars absolutely blows my mind, because getting something more intimidating, more dramatic, more, I don't even know the words. You can't imagine it until you actually get in it. And again, I said the same thing with the C7 Z06, but once you get in it and experience it, you're like, it opens you up to an entire whole new world. And hey, there's a Porsche Boxster turning up there. We reviewed one of those. That was a much more tame car. This one is just ridiculous. That's how I would describe it. Absurd, ridiculous, shouldn't be even well, yes, it should have been created, but I mean, the fact that this is like available, all you have to do is find something to make a lot of money, and then you get yourself one of these, a real life frickin' video game. Yep, worth it, worth the $250,000. I think it is kind of funny though, when you sit in this and you're not going crazy, you're actually going to forget that you're in a Lambo. Let's actually go ahead and put it into Strata mode. And that just calmed it down a lot. You still hear the V10, but it's way less present. Infotainment system, or gauge cluster doesn't look as dramatic. And now, we're just chilling. We're not in a Lamborghini, right? Well, you're reminded through that dash. The green Alcantara. And this windshield being so slanted. But I imagine if you buy one of these, I mean, if you're not using the power, you're gonna actually kind of get used to it, as ridiculous as that says. Now, you're not gonna get used to the acceleration, that's for sure. 8,500 RPM redline. And I mean, even going at 5,000 RPM, you You're moving faster than 99% of other cars, and you're listening to a sound better than 99% of other cars. Wow. Yeah. Putting it in Strata mode really, really calms that exhaust down. Let's go back to Corsa here. Oh, yep, that's more like it. How is this possible? That's my only question. Lamborghini, thank you. Thank you. And big thank you to CCVG Rentals in Charlotte, North Carolina for helping to make this video possible. I have never ended a video like this, but guys, thank you for 5,000 subscribers and thank you for joining this journey. I never thought in my entire life I would even touch a Lamborghini. Let's see what other cars we can get. I love you guys and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.